This is YouTube News. U.S. futures fall as traders await hike of tariffs on Chinese goods. U.S. equity futures declined on Thursday evening as traders awaited a midnight deadline for U.S. tariffs to increase on Chinese goods. As of 11:17 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday, Dow Jones Industrial Average futures were down 88 points, implying an opening decline of 83 points for the index at Friday, and #X27S open. S&P 500 and Nasdaq futures also pointed to a lower open for the two indexes on Friday. Futures had been positive for much of the evening, but turned negative following news that trade talks between the US and China would continue on Friday, implying no deal had been struck before the midnight deadline for increased tariffs. Chinese Vice Premier Liu He met with top US trade officials Thursday evening in Washington, just hours before the new tariffs were to go into effect. President Donald Trump had set a 12:01 Eastern Time deadline to slap higher tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. Trump later suggested that the White House could reverse that decision, based on progress in negotiations. Hours before the meeting Thursday, the president said tariffs are an excellent alternative to a trade deal with China. Peter Boockvar, chief investment officer of Bleakley Advisory Group, said the market reaction will be extreme in either direction, depending on the outcome of Thursday night and #X27S dinner. And Friday is very binary. If you get a deal, we and #X27 re going to rally. If you don't, and #X27T, we and #X27 re going to take a really nice hit to the downside, end quote. Boockvar said. Boockvar is predicting an extension of talks and a delay by the White House. End quote. I understand what they and #X27 re trying to do by putting China and #X27's feet to the fire. But I have to believe that they and #X27 extend the talks, and they and #X27 delay the tariffs, end quote, Boockvar said. End quote. The president will talk tough, and we and #X27 get a relief rally tomorrow, end quote. Stocks extended this week in #X27's extreme sell-off on Thursday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has fallen more than 650 points this week, while the S&P 500 has lost about 2.5% following the president and #X27's Sunday tweet threatening tariff hikes. On Monday, stocks shook off the president and #X27's weekend tweet as a mere negotiation tactic. But tougher rhetoric by top U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer weighed on major indexes. The White House set a Friday deadline to strike a deal before existing tariffs increase from 10% to 25%. Markets again seesawed after the president said it was possible to get a trade deal with China this week. The Dow fell nearly 450 points at its intraday low on Thursday, before cutting losses and ending the day just 138 points down. Dave Lafferty, chief market strategist at Natixis Investment Managers, said any positive market reaction is still likely to be underwhelming. End quote. This is the new normal for U.S. China trade relations. It and #X27's almost become trade policy by tariff threat, end quote, Lafferty said. End quote. What concerns me the most is, even if we do get a trade deal, which I think we will, the market and #X27's positive reaction will be fleeting, end quote. Still, traders are in a wait-and-see mode. End quote. The markets are ruled by the news headlines, and at this time, no one can guess which way the president or China is going to go, end quote, said Chris Rupke, chief financial economist at MUFG Union Bank. Rupke said investors are, end quote, underestimating, end quote, U.S. economic damage if tariffs increase permanently. End quote. Markets have discounted a lot of bad news, but they haven and #X27 discounted a recession as a result of the trade war escalation with China, end quote, he said. The CBOE Volatility Index, a measure of the 30-day implied volatility of the S&P 500 and #X27's commonly known as Wall Street and #X27's end quote, fear gauge, end quote, hit its highest level since January 4 on Thursday. Goldman Sachs assured its clients that even if the tariff hike is implemented at the deadline, there in #X27's room for some sort of deal. End quote. We note that details in the notice implementing the tariff hike indicate that exports that have already left Chinese ports before May 10 will not be subject to the increase, end quote, Goldman economist Jan Hatzius said. And quote, this creates an unofficial window, potentially lasting a couple of weeks, in which negotiations can continue and generates a and hashtag X27, soft and hashtag X27, deadline to reach a deal, and quote, others are less hopeful. In a note to clients, Cowen managing director and Washington strategist Chris Kruger highlighted Trump and hashtag X27's rally Wednesday night in Florida, his tweets over the week, and a comment Thursday that there was an, quote, alternative, quote, to a deal. Kruger said it and hashtag X27's, quote, hard to not be more pessimistic on the U.S. China narrative, i.e., the return of tariff man, quote, many are still optimistic tariffs can be avoided 1 minute past midnight, we are not, quote, Kruger said. CNBC and hashtag X27's Fred Imbert, Yun Li and Michael Bloom, contributed reporting. YouTube News.